It has been a chaotic few days on Parliament Hill. The House of Commons adjourned on Tuesday, but there are calls for the Prime Minister, continued calls for him to step aside.
I'm calling on Justin Trudeau to resign. He has to go.
Jagmeet Singh's appearance on CTV's morning show became a political spectacle, an unrelenting back and forth with a tenacious reporter that left Singh floundering for solid ground. In the age of viral moments, this interview has quickly become a cautionary tale of political missteps. It was intended to be a platform for Jagmeet Singh, leader of Canada's New Democratic Party, to share his vision and engage with Canadians on pressing national issues. Jagmeet Singh has positioned himself as a vocal critic of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his Liberal government, citing their failures to address the economic struggles facing Canadians. Housing affordability, grocery prices, job insecurity, and soaring inflation dominate public discourse. Singh has repeatedly declared that Trudeau's leadership is failing the country, even going so far as to state unequivocally that the Prime Minister needs to go.
And for that reason, today I'm calling on Justin Trudeau to resign. He has to go.
However, actions speak louder than words, and this is where the controversy lies. Singh has the power to trigger a vote of no confidence, which would likely lead to an election. Yet, despite his rhetoric, he has refrained from using that power. This glaring contradiction set the stage for a tense and revealing exchange during the interview. The interview began with a straightforward question.
Listen, you say the Prime Minister has to resign. You said, in fact, that he has to go. He's already said he's not going to do that.
Jagmeet Singh's response was a blend of talking points and deflections.
Well, everything's on the table, we've said, but it's been clear, given that we've got the threats of tariffs from Trump, that puts a lot of workers in Canada saying, will I lose my job? We know that people are having a really hard time buying groceries, just the basic essentials.
Sure.
And we got people that are saying, I can't find a home, my bills are up. Given all of that, we've got a Prime Minister that's more focused on fighting his own party than fighting for Canadians. It's clear that he's got to go.
The reporter didn't let Singh's non-answer slide, pointing out that his statements were inconsistent with his actions.
One who can make that happen. So why not commit to a vote that would see an election in this country?
Singh's reply did little to advance the conversation. His assertion that we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks was vague and unsatisfactory. The lack of commitment became a recurring theme throughout the interview. The reporter's persistence brought another critical issue to light: Canadians' growing frustration with the government and their desire for an election. Recent polls show that a majority of Canadians want to head to the polls sooner rather than later. The reporter emphasized this disconnect between Singh's rhetoric and public sentiment. Singh sidestepped the question, pointing instead to the scheduled election in 2025, a date that feels far too distant for many Canadians struggling under current economic pressures. His dismissal of immediate action seemed to ignore the urgency expressed by voters. A significant portion of the interview focused on Singh's warnings about Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre. Singh argued that Poilievre's leadership would harm Canadians by cutting essential programs like childcare, healthcare, and pensions. However, the reporter was quick to challenge these claims, pointing out the lack of evidence to support them.
You know, you've talked about the Conservatives and what they can do, but they are 20 points ahead. You and the Liberals are sitting further back from that. So wouldn't it say to me that what Canadians want is a chance to elect a new government?
Singh's response was to double down on his warnings, but the lack of concrete examples undermined his argument. Poilievre's stated priorities, such as cutting government waste and reducing the carbon tax, resonate with many Canadians. Singh's focus on hypothetical risks came across as speculative and disconnected from the current political landscape. The interview also highlighted the complex relationship between the NDP and the Liberal government. While Singh has been critical of Trudeau, his party's support for key Liberal initiatives has drawn criticism. The NDP's decision to prop up the Liberals in confidence votes has led some to question the party's independence and relevance.
So Trudeau spoke at the Liberal caucus holiday party last night. The Prime Minister saying there that the last couple of days have been not easy.
This is a critical point. For many voters, the NDP's alliance with the Liberals appears contradictory. Singh's reluctance to distance himself from Trudeau risks alienating those who see the NDP as little more than an extension of the Liberal Party. Throughout the interview, Singh's responses lacked the clarity and decisiveness expected of a leader positioning himself as an alternative to the status quo. The reporter's relentless questioning exposed a troubling pattern: Singh's unwillingness to take concrete action, despite his claims of fighting for Canadians. This hesitation raises broader questions about the NDP's strategy. By failing to act decisively, the party risks losing its identity as a distinct voice in Canadian politics. Singh's statements about keeping all options on the table ring hollow when paired with his inaction. The interview wasn't just a political blunder for Singh, it also highlighted the frustrations of many Canadians. Rising inflation, unaffordable housing, and job insecurity have left people feeling abandoned by their leaders. Singh's inability to provide a clear path forward reflects a broader failure of leadership across the political spectrum. For voters, this moment serves as a stark reminder to scrutinize not only politicians' words but also their actions. While Singh's criticisms of Trudeau may resonate, his reluctance to act raises doubts about his ability to deliver real change. The reporter's role in this exchange cannot be overlooked. Her refusal to accept vague answers set a high standard for political interviews. By repeatedly circling back to the central question, why Singh won't act to trigger an election, she exposed the weaknesses in his arguments. This level of accountability is rare in political journalism, and it's a reminder of the media's critical role in democracy. For Singh, however, it was a moment of reckoning that he seemed unprepared to face. The fallout from this interview could have significant implications for Singh and the NDP. With his riding affected by boundary changes and growing dissatisfaction among voters, Singh faces an uphill battle in the next election. His performance on Morning Show did little to inspire confidence in his leadership. If the NDP hopes to remain relevant, it must address these challenges head-on. This includes distancing itself from the Liberals, articulating a clear and independent vision, and taking decisive action to address Canadians' concerns. Failure to do so could see the party fade into political irrelevance. One of the major challenges facing Singh and the NDP is the increasing divide within the Canadian left. The ideological rift between the NDP and the Liberal Party has grown wider in recent years, with some progressives arguing that the Liberals are too conservative on critical issues like climate change and wealth inequality. On the other hand, there are those within the NDP who believe that working with the Liberals is essential to keeping the Conservatives out of power. This internal division is not only evident within the party, but also across the Canadian electorate, where many left-leaning voters are unsure about which party best represents their values. Singh has been in a delicate balancing act, trying to appease both sides of the political spectrum. The NDP is caught between being a force for progressive change and the political reality of keeping the Liberals in power. Singh's failure to offer a clear stance on this ideological divide weakens his position and diminishes his ability to unite voters who are frustrated with both the Liberals and Conservatives. The interview also underscores the growing influence of digital media in shaping political discourse. In today's digital age, moments like these can go viral within hours, shaping public opinion and influencing the trajectory of political careers. Singh's struggle to provide direct, decisive answers during the interview was quickly picked up by social media, and many Canadians voiced their frustrations online. The rise of social media has created a new frontier for political accountability. Politicians are no longer just under the scrutiny of traditional media. They are also held accountable by everyday citizens who use platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok to share their opinions. Singh's inability to handle the interview effectively is a reminder of how important it is for politicians to adapt to this new reality and communicate clearly and effectively across multiple channels. In a time when many Canadians are dissatisfied with the status quo, Singh's hesitation to act decisively could come at a significant cost. The country's electorate is increasingly polarized, with many voters feeling that their voices are not being heard. Inaction, particularly from a party that positions itself as an alternative, risks alienating an entire generation of disillusioned voters who are looking for leadership and real change. The key issue at the heart of this interview was not just about a vote of no confidence, but about leadership itself. Canadians are looking for politicians who are willing to act and make tough decisions, not just speak in generalities or hide behind vague promises. Singh's reluctance to seize the moment and take action may very well signal the NDP's diminishing relevance in a political landscape that demands clear, bold action. Jagmeet Singh's interview on CTV's morning show will likely be remembered as a pivotal moment in his political career. It exposed not only his reluctance to act, but also the broader challenges facing the NDP. For Canadians, it serves as a reminder of the importance of holding politicians accountable and demanding clear answers. As the next election approaches, Singh and the NDP have a choice to make. Will they continue to play it safe, or will they take bold action to prove they are a viable alternative to the Liberals and Conservatives? For now, the answer remains unclear. This moment has prompted a larger conversation about political accountability, leadership, and the future of Canadian democracy. The electorate is watching, and Singh's ability to respond to this challenge will determine not only his political future, but also the NDP's role in shaping the country's political landscape for years to come. As we reflect on Jagmeet Singh's interview and the challenges he faces, we want to hear your thoughts. Do you think Singh's leadership is truly standing up for Canadians, or is he missing the mark? Should the NDP distance itself from the Liberals and take more decisive action? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Join the conversation. Your opinion matters.